get started tonight because we got Guardians baseball coming up, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started. We always start, welcome everyone. We always start with our mission statement, and so we'll read that. New Philadelphia City Schools will provide all students the opportunity to achieve their highest potential, to become educated, self-sufficient, and responsible citizens. We are committed to providing every student a diverse, quality education within a safe and secure environment through a dedicated, innovative, and highly qualified staff in partnership with parents and the community at large. And if you'll stand, and we'll have the students lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Students always do that so much better than us adults. Adults are like that pledge. All right. Call the roll.
Mr. McMath?
Here.
Mr. Ricklick?
Present.
Mrs. Schrock?
Here.
Ms. Fontana? Present. We have a quorum.
Do I have a recommendation to approve the agenda of the regular Board of Education meeting? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second. Yeah, do we have?
Next.
Well, I was just going to do that when I do the recommendation to approve it. Anything else? Okay, call the roll.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, this will change. Do I have a recommendation to approve the minutes of the special meeting dated September 9th, 2024, and the regular meeting dated September 9th, 2024?
Yes, I'll.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Any changes or anything?
We are taking off that work session
Yep.
meeting.
Call the roll.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do I have a recommendation to approve the minutes of the special meeting dated September 18th, 2024?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any changes or anything? Call the roll.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Recuse.
Mr. Ricklick? The motion does not carry.
Okay, the highlight of every month that we have is to have students come in from our different buildings and whatnot to tell us what's going on, highlight some of the fun things that are happening in our spaces, in our buildings. And so this is definitely the highlight of our meetings. More important than money, don't tell Julie, or hires or anything like that, is what our teachers and our kids are doing in the buildings. And so we will turn it over to Mrs. Host to begin.
Here tonight. Student The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. Let's learn about the history. Let's learn about the fate of the Constitution of the United States. In 1387, a delegation met. They came to solve our differences and get our nation set. It happened in May in Independence Hall. All except Rhode Island answered the call. The great George Washington was chosen to be head. He served as president and he did what he said. Virginia's James Madison was busy taking notes. The father of the Constitution, they later wrote. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. Let's learn about the history. Let's learn about the fate of the Constitution of the United States. Old Ben Franklin was an important delegate. Let's talk it over. Debate, cooperate. Men work together to come up with something wise. A portion of their work was called the Great Compromise. Yes, the Congress would be made up to the House and the Senate. Making laws is what they do, they should not waste a minute. The preamble was written, and it simply states, we, the people of the United States, the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the United States. Let's learn about the history, let's learn about the fate of the Constitution of the United States. And let's work together, creating a plan to protect the people of this new land. The Bill of Rights was added to protect our liberty. The basic rights of freedom would now be guaranteed. The Constitution became law in 1788. We always will remember that very important date. So here's to the men who did all they could do to create a strong country, the red, white, and blue. Hooray!
I am Mia McHugh, and I'm excited to introduce our next piece. American music plays a key role in our music classes, and to honor Veterans Day, we'll begin with The Spirit of America, a song that inspires pride in being an American.
This great country, this great land, all together now we stand. Proud and strong, straight and tall, Americans one and all. Every dreamer in the sun shares one hope for everyone. All live free, great and small, Americans one and all. The spirit of America, the spirit of America, the spirit of America.
demonstrate our recorded skills with a performance of Amazing Grace. Fun fact, one source mentions that Amazing Grace was written in 1772 by John Newton, a former slave ship captain. The song's lyrics remind us that God's grace is given to everyone, even when it's undeserved.
Now, they have a question for you. Do you know the words to that? I hope so, because we want you to sing along with us. Here we go. Ready? Ready and stop. Sweet the sound, sweet the like me. I was lost, but now I'm blind, but now I see. Well, thank you for joining us.
For our final Veterans Day tribute, we will perform a Grateful Nation, a song that expresses our deep appreciation for all the veterans for all that the veterans have done for our country. My name is Briley Rogers.
You have our backs, you always do. You know that we rely on you. You have our hearts, we honor you. The heroes of red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. You put yourselves right on the line. Because of you, we're doing fine. Your family has given too, and they deserve our gratitude. Our gratitude. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. We are a grateful nation for all you do, for all you've done. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. We are grateful. Give it up for the heroes. Give it up for the heroes. Give
Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us the opportunity to perform for you. My name is Ada Camban, and now let's show our true Quaker spirit as we will join together to sing our fight song, Philly Will Shine.
Okay, guys, better know this.
Philly will shine bright, Philly will shine. Philly will shine bright, right down the line. Philly will shine bright, Philly will shine. Philly, oh Philly, oh Philly, will shine. Philly will shine bright, Philly will shine. Philly will shine bright, right down the line. Philly will shine bright, Philly will shine. Let's try to Philly, oh Philly, oh Philly, will shine.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. Good evening. I'm Mrs. Van Arsdale, and I am the Student Council Advisor. And tonight, our members of the Student Council would like to share with you just a little bit about West Elementary, what we're doing there, and some of the exciting things that we're going to be doing in the future. Tonight with us, some of our Student Council members we have are Michael Endlick, Cohen Swales, Hayden Hickman, Emily Neff, Ben Schrock, Talia Tucker, Brooklyn Beebe, Hannah Berman, Lexi Hughes, Emerson Cornell, Aubrey Hagee, and Philip Stroop. Members that are not present with us tonight are, oh, I'm sorry, and Jackson Scarpino, not last but not least. Members that are not present with us tonight are Isabel Hoopman, Orion Seldenwright, Callie Piacente, Jason Ciacia, Juana Arnel Viacente, and Irely Wells.
Hello, members of the board. We are the members of the Student Council at West Elementary.
In order to become a representative of West Elementary, we created a slogan and presented a campaign speech to our classmates who were elected by a class vote.
It is important West Elementary to designate as well as encouraging our students to help others in the community. This month, we are collecting socks for the homeless shelter. The next month, we are planning on collecting canned goods and home goods for the homeless shelter as well.
During November and December, we will be collecting gifts for the Eagle Tree to donate to children in the community who are in need. We will also be raising money for the Rainbow Connection. We will have an opportunity to partner with T4C and Tuscarora County to gather donations for the residents of public schools. In addition to these, we will actually be participating in the fest while the event is held. We have a mental island for the animals at the shelter at the end of the year.
Finally, every week we help with recycling and delivering lessons in a backpack to students. These are a few of the opportunities the South to West Student Council is involved in, and we are excited to add more. In addition to all of the different student council initiatives, West Elementary students are also involved with our new Accelerated Computer or AR program, as well as PBIS. We would like to tell you a little bit more about this. This year, West Elementary is participating in AR. Each quarter, we work hard to meet our individualized goals by reading and taking quizzes. the end of the year, at the end of the year, we will have an ice cream sundae party where we receive different toppings based on whether or not we went our proper goals. We will also hold an air auction where we can purchase different prizes with our winning funds. We are also focusing on IS area of respectful, responsible, and safe. We have numerous board opportunities throughout the year. For instance, we earned an extra recess and had a pep rally where we challenged members of the football team, cheer squad, and QT dancers to mandatory games. We are excited to see what new awards we will be able to earn throughout the year. West Elementary has many exciting things happening, and we are glad we have the chance to tell you about them today. Thank you. And remember, West is the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Great job. Let us know when that ice cream party is.
You have to read books.
I read books. Thank you, Mrs. Graham. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. Yeah.
Jen, she's emptying the purse. What did she pull out?
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of it.
Bye, Mr. Knapp.
Good evening.
How were those wings from the other night?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Usually Thursdays, I'm in too. So
B-dubs?
good practice. Brew house.
He crossed the street in front of us.
Bye, Ramona. Where's the OL people?
Thank you, Mrs. Host. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Do you want to start doing them? Or are you checking?
I think we should do all of this.
Okay.
Give them a second.
Front and center.
Bye.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lori Hall, and one of my job responsibilities here at New Philly is being the Title III coordinator, which is for our English language learners. And one of the things that we wanted to do is recognize the students that actually passed the assessment this past year, which is a huge accomplishment. That means that they're proficient in the English language, not only by reading it, but writing, listening, and speaking are all the components. So not as many people showed up as what we would have liked, but if Marcus would want to come up. This is Marcus Solarian Nunez, and he is a third grader, and at this point, he knows both Spanish and English. Do you know anything else? You know, just Spanish. But I don't know about any of you. I only know one language, so to be a third grader and be proficient in 2 languages, that's pretty amazing. So congratulations. We'll get you a certificate sent to your school, and you can have a seat with Dad. I do want to announce all the other people, though, that thanks, Dad, for bringing that. Appreciate that. Ria Avenel Herrera, Sylvia Jose Zacharias, Ximena Castro Ahana, Lucia Leon Raelios, Juan Pablo Perez Ishboy, Danny Q Ambrosio, Jason Sica, Edward Solis Garcia, Pedro Ciprian Lopez, Myra De Leon Hernandez, Arcela Lopez Hernandez, Kathleen Pedro Juan, Dylan Ricky Aguilar, Grady Q Ambrosio, Victor Solis Garcia, Alexander Ahana Herrera, Jessica Hernandez Lopez, Juan Sica Ahana, Luis Solis Ramondo, Daniel Felipe Pedro, Shayla Madrum Velasquez, and Shirley Azuria Perez. So that's 24 of our students. We have over 550 English learners in our district. So like I said, it's a big accomplishment to be able to be proficient in both languages. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. Appreciate it for sure. Thank you, Marcus, for coming. You're welcome. Okay, we love those recognition and spotlights times for sure. So public participation, we have one, Joe Morris. Joe, just per board policy, each person is allotted 5 minutes to speak.
My name is Joseph. Consent can never be given to a student, teacher, massage. Hugs, massaging. The student has been touched in this manner or has witnessed a teacher rubbing or massaging a student, please report it. The best way to report it is to send an email to the school principal. He or she can then elevate the report from there. There's also a reporting mechanism on the school's website that reports it to a state agency. At the bottom of the school's homepage is a link titled Anonymous Safety Report. You can remain anonymous using the state agency form if you fear retribution for coming forward. Unfortunately, my kids have been inappropriately touched by a teacher in a position of power and authority, stroking a student's bicep with their thumb while telling them how great of a job they just did is not only inappropriate, it's disgusting. The same teacher conducting massage circles with students, both giving and receiving massages, is not only inappropriate, it's disgusting. Our students need adults that will stand up and protect them from this behavior, not make excuses and quietly deal with this abhorrent behavior behind the scenes, leaving the teacher in a position of authority and power over students. I did not want to be here tonight publicly addressing this situation. My family has tried to work through the appropriate channels in reporting this behavior, including making a formal complaint with the school district. Unfortunately, the teacher did not receive a formal written reprimand from our report of inappropriate touching. We are concerned the administration is showing deliberate indifference to this serious accusations. I would like to encourage the board to pursue an independent investigation into these charges, as I believe the administration has not acted in good faith in their investigation. According to a study published in June 2018 in the edition of Journal Child Sex Abuse, a teacher who sexually abuses children is, on average, passed to 3 school districts and has as many as 20 or 73 victims because school administrators refuse to make permanent notes in the teacher's file and prefer that the problem just quietly goes away. That is not putting the safety of our children first. As victims, we have no way of knowing what, if any, punishment this teacher received or will receive for touching our children. We are limited to documents we can request via public document requests. The response we did receive from the assistant superintendent related to our inquiry into this results of our complaint was, quote, "I'm not at liberty to share this results of my investigation as it is internal, but please understand that we will continue to do everything in our power to make sure students feel safe and cared for in any realm of our district. I would encourage you to use your story of strength to convince other parents to speak up and contact the school district as well so that we can address these situations in a timely manner." So here I am, forced to bring this very difficult situation forward in a public manner because apparently one report of a teacher touching a student isn't enough. So please, parents, talk to your kids about what is and isn't appropriate touching. If your child has been touched or has observed a teacher touching kids, or your child knows of a staff member that has sent inappropriate text messages or Snapchat messages to students, please, please, please come forward and report it. If nothing is said, nothing will change. Our children deserve change. I'm going to end my comments tonight with advice my father gave me and that I regularly give to my kids. Do the right thing always, even when no one is looking, even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Treasurer's report.
Okay, in your board folder, you have the September financial statements, the key indicator, the cash flow, the check register, and the bank reconciliation. All balances are in balance. And again, that was September's month-end information. I'm asking you to approve the agreement for law enforcement services in the amount of $48,666.61 to replace a police cruiser. This is our portion of the cruiser. That's not the total cost. I'm asking for approval of the 3-year contract with Ray & Associates for the AUP for Medicaid school program cost report in the amount of $9,025. I'm asking for the approval of the purchase of a John Deere Gator at the stadium in the amount of $3,053.91, which you'll see a donation that applies to this later. I'm asking for the approval of the Kennedy Insurance invoice for flood insurance at the Quaker Dome. Approve the contract with LearnWell for behavior services at $51 an hour for 2 students. I'm asking for approval of the engagement letter with the Auditor of State for fiscal year 24 audit in the amount of $31,447. Approve the purchase of a transportation vehicle not to exceed $25,000. Approve the purchase of 2 band trailers in the amount of $136 each. The boosters will be donating the cost of 1 trailer to the district. I'm asking you to approve FMLA for Brian Cope beginning November 21st, 2024. We have the following donations. The Quaker Club is $3,053.91 for the John Deere that was noted earlier. Rosenberry Foundation, $5,000 for Project Lead the Way program. Move Ma Foundation, $250 for the Project Lead the Way program. I have 3 salary moves, Gwen Fowler, Kelly O'Donnell, and Kevin Cornell. I'm asking you to approve the amended certificate of estimated resources for 2 of our funds and approve amended appropriations for 2 of our funds.
Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report? Second?
Second.
Any questions? Good. Call the roll?
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana? Motion carries.
Personnel?
Once again, we have a list of personnel items. We do have a couple resignations, staff members. I'm happy to say, if you notice in the next section, that we have people to replace those positions, as well as the addition of a couple EL parapros, which now ensures that we have someone in all the buildings. We have some supplemental contracts to approve. On the next page, we have several substitutes, whether they be teachers, bus aides, secretary aides, custodians. We are thankful for our substitutes and could use more, so continue to encourage those that you know that might be interested in doing that. We do have some other volunteers to approve as well. Our general volunteers, we have a couple to add to the band volunteer list. Some for these outside agencies that are doing work in our buildings, including Ohio Guidestone, Springvale, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and the Tusky DD, and a list of athletic volunteers to be approved as well. All of them have been properly background checked. I could have a motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Oh, call the roll?
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Any committee reports this evening?
I do want to draw your attention to the 24-25 Business Advisory Council plan. It is officially posted now for this year, and it is up on the website.
Great. Assistant Superintendent's report.
Aside from the financial reports, B and C, I show you letter A is approving our 10-year extension with the state to continue being a sponsor. It was due next year, due to be up next year, so we proactively got the state to give us a 10-year extension starting after this year. So I ask that you approve that so we can remain a sponsor for the next 10 years.
And that's just general approval, a blanket approval to sponsor whomever, correct?
Anything, yeah,
Yes.
anybody who's to be a sponsor of a community school, you know.
Do I have a motion to approve the Assistant Superintendent's report?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any questions or anything for Mr. Williams? Call the roll?
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Superintendent's report?
Several things here. The first one is the first hearing for a resolution to adopt policy changes. If you look into that, you can see this comes about because of the name change from the Ohio Department of Education to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, and then the State Board of Education that assumes some of those roles. In our policies, we would refer to ODE multiple places, and so because of that name change, they technically needed revised. So if you remember, earlier this year, we had sent out information to OSBA just to look at all of our policies and give us a list of everything that needed corrected, and that's what this is. They are simply name changes. Item B is approve the Delphi and Corral non-routine trip to Columbus next June. And item C, planning ahead, is Spanish Club non-routine trip to Spain in 2026. So they always approve that well in advance, so students have lots of opportunities to raise funds for that. Item D is the list of board policies that need updated due to legislation since last February when we last updated them. There were quite a few educational implications from the laws that were passed over the summer. And the policy committee met and reviewed all of those changes, and those are reflected in the policies in your folder.
Do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or anything? Call the roll.
Ms. Fontana?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And do I have a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of considering the investigation of complaints against a public employee? A second? Call the roll.
Ms. Fontana? Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
We're in executive session.